standards, right? So there would be a prescribed limits on the energy consumptions, or you can say that minimum level of the energy efficiency, that what the prescribed limit of the energy consumptions of what manufactured products, right? And the standard commonly encompasses two possible meanings, right? Well defined test protocols to obtain the sufficiently accurate estimate, and another is target limit on the energy performance. And these basis we have introduced some standards, right? These are the some standards. If you're talking about labels, label will describe the energy performance, as I told that 5-star label, 3-star label, right? that that kind of label describes what energy performance, what in the form of that energy use efficiency or that energy cost as well. And here labels mainly give consumers necessary information to make the informed purchases. While purchasing, let consumers come to know that what kind of product they are uh, using or will consume such kind of product, right? On behalf of that, to understand the informed about the product, their label has been introduced. So there are some comparative label and endorsement labels are there. So we are look into it. There are two kinds of labels. So comparative labels and endorsement labels. Wherein comparative labels, it allows the consumers to compare the energy consumption of similar products and also factor lifetime running costs into their purchasing decisions. Whatever, whenever they are purchasing such kind of products, so they'll come to know that comparative labels, it would allow some them what comparing our life running cost into their whatever they have been discussed, decision has been taken to purchase such kind of products, right? So here the endorsement label provides what certification to inform what prospective purchasers that the product is highly energy efficient for its category. So this is what two labels are mentioned over there. And here the energy labels can be used to stand alone, or you can say complement energy standards. And in addition to that given information that allows that consumers who care to select the efficient models, labels also provide a common energy efficiency benchmark that can work in association with that other policy measures, such as you can say procurement programs, financial incentives, etc., right? And the effectiveness of that energy label is heavily dependent on how they present information to the consumers, and on how they are supported by that information to this consumers, and how they are supported by information to the consumer, and on how they are supported by that information campaigns, financial incentives, and also other related programs as well, right? So these are some of the two types of labels over there, right? And if you're talking about the appliances covered under the SL standards and labels scheme are some follows, right? If you're talking about the products on which the labels is mandatory, if you're talking about these kind of labels, uh, as I told that the labels are for the consumers get to know that whether that how much energy has been saving efficiency category, or you can say running cost into their purchasing, right? So some the standards has been maintained, or they have been standardized. Some products has to mandatorily or compulsory has to do with the labeling, and in that products, some of that products are, you can say that, frost free refrigerator. Frost free refrigerator is nothing but, if you see older refrigerator, in the refrigerator chamber, the ice will get automatically will get ice, and on that ice, some of the crystals that have been occurred, right? So that is what called the solid surface. On that solid surface, the ice has been deposited, right? So in that older refrigerator, what you have to do is keep off mode of refrigerator until that all the deposited ice in that refrigerant chamber, so it will get melt, and again you will be switch on that refrigerator. So in now a refrigerator comes in that frost free. There is no such kind of uh, what you say, ice has been occurred in that chamber, the refrigerator chamber. So now in that refrigerator, the label should be mandatory, even though tabular fluorescent lamps, right? So that is also mandatory. We have to be put such kind of labels: 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 5 star, right? Such kind of. And room air conditions, as I told that the example has been given, right? Refrigerator air conditions. So air condition, room air conditions, they are mandatory to give a star rating. Even distribution transformers, that is also very important. It should be a good labeled or good star transformers. And where, as I told that, room air conditioning, that would be castle floor standings, tower ceilings, concerns, such kind of ACs. And another is direct cool refrigerator and color TV as also. That is what we call the smart TVs. So that is also mandatory put on that star rating on that smart TVs, or you can say color TVs, right? And some of the products where the labels is voluntary, means that is not a full time, that is for a time being, right? So some of the products where the label is voluntary, right? Such as electric geysers, induction motors, even the agriculture pump sets. So there is no such means that is not mandatory for such kind of products to give a labels, right? That would be voluntarily. So they may use or they might not use, that is for time being. And the ceiling fans, even though LPG stoves, washing machines, right? And even laptops and notebooks, right? And even though office equipments, uh, ballasts, and even diesel engine driven monosets pumps for agriculture purposes. So some of this are, even though you can say solid state inverters, even say diesel generators, right? They might have used in somewhere, I mean, in industry or somewhere at home. The bigger homes, means the joint family over there. They, instead of using that inverter, they are using such kind of diesel generators. And even variable capacity air conditions, that is we call that inverter air conditions. And even LED uh, retrofit lamps. So in such kind of products, they won't mandatory be should be there labeled, right? That would be a voluntary in such kind of products. So if you're talking about applications of refrigeration, right? So for each product under the S and L scheme, right? Standard and labeling scheme, where a Bureau of Energy, what you say, that energy efficiency, right? Bureau of Energy Efficiency uploads the following information on that, say, standards and labeling web portals. So you can go through some such kind of web portals over here, where scheduled regulations and of BE of for respective product, what you say, procedure for obtaining a label, even the list of documents required to be submit along with that applications as well. And you can say that financial obligations also involved here, right? And if you see that an applicant is required to apply online uh, for through these standards and labels, right, web portal, and subsequently submit hard copy of that applications along with that supportive documents to BE as well. So here, as I told that registration can be done in the two strategies, or you can say the two stages. One is company registrations and one is model registrations. If you're talking about general guidance for that company registration, that is what company registration first one and second one is model registration. So if you're talking about company registration, right? So general guidance regarding that company registration, how we could get that company registration. Where before that, these are the guidance for company registration is what each and every document submitted to that Bureau of Energy Efficiency, right? So it would be either in the hard copy or uploaded on online as well, and must bear the sign and stamp of that authorized signatory in the original, right? So if you want to register in the company registration, so you need to be go such kind of guidelines or such kind of documents you need to be prepared, and all the document must be submitted in the given sequence only. Means they had given some sequence, so in that sequence they have to be make such kind of documents in that sequence, and kept in that file in a proper way, right? And documents without proper filing or loose, or you can say clipped or only stapled will be accepted, right? Without prop filling or loose or clipped or only stapled will not be accepted. So you need to be properly filled, properly fixed. You should not be stapled, right? So everything has to be there in that documents. And even though the deviation from the process would be treated as non-compliance to that application, right? And the sequence documents too, if you're talking about the sequence of documents to be attached for that purpose of company registration is first is cover letter, right? So as given an annexure 1 or 2 or 3, whatever the annexures has been given for the fresh applications and resubmission of respectively in that covering letter. And if you're talking about one time company registration, that is fee, uh, approximately that will be 1 lakh for large scale industry and rupees of 25,000 for small scale industry is applicable for that registration, and of one product and respective. Are you getting this? Means for one product we have to be registration fee will be 25,000, and for a bigger or large scale industry you have to be pay for 1 lakh for each product, and payment can be made through a bank demand draft or through online also we can do the same. And after that, print out of that online company registration form. So you will get the properly signed and stamped with the company seal with all filled in the details, right? You should be prepared with. And another is agreement between what BEE and user of label on of rupees 100, right? The agreement has to be right on the rupees of 100 non-judicial stamp paper for what voluntary scheme only, right? And separate agreement for each product type. So for one product type you need to be uh, agreement between user and BE on the 100 rupees non-judicial stamp paper, right? So that would be only for that voluntary scheme only, and right, and one set of general documents. And in one set of general documents, uh, that would be a what, trademarks certificate should be there in the name of that user of that label. And one more is SSI certificate, that is small scale industry certificate, right? If small scale industry and applying for that first time. And another is what, quality management system certificate, that is ISO 9001, issued in the name of and address of that manufacturing facility mentioned in that company registration from that manufacturer. And in case of multiple manufacturer facility, ISO of all the manufacturing facility must be enclosed with the same, right? And another is authorized signature letter on that company letterhead, mentioning the name and the specimen signature of that authorized signatories and the company of that head, or head of that company, right? And BIS license, that is also important with the validity date and endorsement letter showing all applied models, right? And the models applied to be BE should be what, highlighted in that endorsement sheets as well, if applicable, right? And if you want to talking about a sequence of documents to be attached for this purpose of model registration, so now we had gone through the general documentation, right? There are two kinds of uh, registrations, right? So one is company registration and one is model registration. So we had gone through such company registrations guideline and a sequence of documents for this company registrations. So now we'll see what would be the mm, model registration, right? The sequence of that documentations in that model registrations, right? So here, first one is the model registration fee, right? For that model registration, and the fee is about 1,000 rupees for each model, and payment can be made through a bank demand draft or through online, same as general, right, registration. And after that, print out of that online application form, properly signed and stamped with that company seal, right? And after that, print out the mandatory form and its annexure form. Wherever the annexures means annexure, there are some of the formats, it might be two annexures, three annexures, whatever they have given the standards, right? So you need to be taken print out of all those for mandatory products only, right? And this is for only for mandatory products. And the after that, test report were properly signed and stamped with the company seal, right? So here, where from NABL accredited lab, rated value must be declared in the test report. If you're talking about in the house test, lab report are accepted provided the lab is accredited by NABL, right? And if you're talking about sample label, again this is one another is a sample label, that is what, printed waterproof, adhesive or metallic as applicable, where this sample label of each model must be stapled along with the online application form of that particular model, and the design and the color parameters of that sample label should strictly match with that specification given in the schedule of the respective equipments, right? If you're talking about, you can refer such kind of information in the links, or you can more detailed information you will get to that these kind of links. If you go through BE star labeling website, you will get to know that all the what you say, registration sequences, right? So you will get to know in this website as well. So or you can go through this scheme for energy efficiency labeling. You will get to know that guidelines for the primitive, right? And important instructions before e-filling, even though color scheme, dimensions of the label, even the product list of under mandatory labeling, and even product list under voluntary labeling also you will get to know that in this such kind of links, right? If you're talking about if you're talking about this B star rating, right? So here in this BE star rating, uh, where this provide what the B star rating, as I told that it provides at all the major kind of appliances in the form of labels, right? And these star rating are given out of 5, right? 5 out of 5 star, right? And they provide a basic sense of how energy efficient each product is, and just is a single just is a single glance, just looking into it. Sorry, if you just looking into that label, you will get to glance for that rating as well, right? So the manufacturer are officially required to put these labels as per the standards and labels programs introduced in 2006, right? So if you're talking about this is big label again, we're talking about this label. So the educate and inform consumers about how energy efficiency each product is, and this also make the manufacturers responsible for that creating products which are highly energy efficient, as consumers may be eventually prefer better rated products, right? And here B stars rating purposes are one of the most common myths about the B star rating is that it is solely based on the appliance's power consumption only, and a lot of factors contribute into formulating this final star rating on that product. Although the manufacturer's rate and the label product, uh, which B sets all the standards and the norms which need to be followed while rating an appliance. While some category of these appliances necessarily have to be given a star rating, for others it's option, right? That would be optional for others, right? So these appliances which need to have an energy rating label mandatory, that frost free refrigerator, just we had gone through some of the tabular frost scant lamps, room air conditioners, such kind of etc color TV and all, right? So the appliances with the lowest energy consumption in the product category are, we can see here, the most stars, and those with the highest energy consumption are then the least, right? There are two variants in the labels, right? There are two variants in the labels, that would be, one is a big label and one other is a small label. So this is what I have given one label example, that is big label, where uh, a rating label is aimed to appliances which have constant usage and consumes more electricity. So that would be of for refrigerator, air conditioner, and geysers, and even wash machines. And this is labeled for 4. This is what 4-star rating, isn't it? So this is not 5 star. This is 4-star rating, where we can say that where 700 kilowatt hour in a year, a 5-star refrigerator will consume lower unit for the same capacity of that cooling, right? So this is what 4 rating. If it is 5-star rating, again that would be lower unit, consume lower unit than this 4-star unit, right? So these labels shows the additional information such as the yearly energy consumption of the product, or you can brand name or product category, and much more over there. And for consumers, this big label is helpful as it allows you to calculate the actual money you would spend in the electricity bill for the particular products, isn't it? So products within the big labels are what, as I told, that refrigerator, air conditioner, geysers, and as I mentioned here. And if you're talking about the small label, this is what the small labels, where the small label can be found in the appliances which usually don't consume more energy. And these labels just give you visual representation of the energy consumption level by showing star rating here. And where the product with a small label, ceiling fans, tube lights, or computer laptops and televisions also comes under in the small labels. And if you're talking about, you can say that mm, power saving guide, right? If you're talking about this power saving guide, how it would be, right? So here, whenever we go to buy a new air conditioner, we find the label on the same, right? So this probably the most important factor apart from the cost, which determines the selection of an air conditions, where the Bureau of the Energy Efficiency mandates every air conditions to have this label. And the representation of the label we can see here. Here what the star rating is, that is total number of star is limited to 5 for all ACs, air conditions, and number of stars in the red block or background indicate the rating granted to that particular model. For example, this one is a 4-star rated model, so this is what highlighted 4-star rated. How? And this is symbol indicated saving of money by reducing energy consumption, right? And this label is showing that energy efficiency ratio, that is equal to cooling capacity divided by power consumption. And this is given the brand specification details. And this is what logo of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So these are the some of the highlight. The number of stars greater will be the efficiency, right? Where EER, the energy efficiency ratio, will be there. And one important thing to be noted here is that energy efficiency ratio is given by watt per watt, which is also same as UOP, right? And whereas we have defined the EER, that is energy efficiency ratio, by BTU, that we had know that BTU means British thermal unit, right? Per hour per watt, right? Hence we can say that EER in the BTU per hour per watt is equal to 3.413 EER in the watt per watt. And where this BES receives the star rating of the air conditioner from time to time. Hence, a 5-star AC in that previous year may become a 3-star AC. And the next year, after revision of the rating takes place, it would be a lesser one. And you may recognize the validity of that label from that label period, section period on that label, right? So this is what we're talking about uh, energy and standards and labels, right? So in the next class we'll discuss with the uh, next subtopic, right? So till now, if you have any queries, please let me know.